of the Italian Grand Prix with Jake Humphrey.
Now we really are getting juicy. The crowd just love it. We've just got drama on the track. Oh no! A crucial move in the championship. There's a real race on.
Boom. See how you get on with that, son.
Another crazy race.
6 races to go. This is Formula One.
What a beautiful morning. Oh, what a beautiful day.
Uh-oh, park car!
Park car!
Straight line, EJ. Eddie! Jordan.
Shall we stop and have a coffee, boys? Super. Perfect. DC, where is that? Where's what?
Oh, wonderful. Thank you very much.
Buongiorno.
Thank you very much.
I was told, bring part of the national flag.
Yeah.
I bring white.
I brought red.
Yellow is in my veins. This is my colour.
Heinz Harold Frentzen wins at Monza in Italy. And there is the ecstatic Eddie Jordan.
Winning here is hugely emotional. I don't know why that is. It's to fussy, it's to hold people.
Thank you. How are you? Buongiorno.
DC's already getting to know the local ladies in the cars. Look at that. I mean, that is absolutely stunning, isn't it?
DC, you won here.
Yeah.
He was the last British winner here.
David Coulthard wins the Italian Grand Prix.
Anyway, welcome to my home.
So you see what's going on up there. Red, white and green. Oh, well.
I think that the teams have to start choosing within the team which driver they're putting all the support behind. Otherwise, they could well lose this championship.
Monza's a pretty little place when you see it like this.
Monza, baby!
Oh, David, you're a hoodlum.
Hooning. Hey, and for my next trick, I'm going to jump into the pond.
This is a team sport, and a team decision will bring this championship home to any one of those Ferrari, Red Bull and McLaren.
I feel like Steve McQueen.
Would you stop the traffic for us, boys?
Grazie mille.
We've had such a great season so far. I'd be surprised if we don't have a classic Monza.
And despite speeds of over 300 kilometres an hour at the fastest circuit in Formula One, it's probably safer in an F1 car on this track than sharing a public road with Eddie Jordan. But from the coffee shops in the historic town square to the rundown but romantic grandstands, Monza isn't posh, glitzy or polished. It's passionate, and you can't help but be amazed by the place. Equally jaw-dropping, but for different reasons, race 15 of a remarkable season under the lights in Singapore in 2 weeks' time. And Eddie, trust you to turn up in a yellow scooter, but I guess this was the setting for quite a special weekend for Jordan, wasn't it?
Well, I mean, it's all part of the euphoria that goes on in this place. It's infectious and it's very passionate. And I think winning here, David and I discussed that, it's one of the key places. If you ever want to win, this must be in your top 3 places to win.
You only ever win in the drive, wasn't it?
I knew you'd come around to say some rubbish like that. I want to see where you've done, and I want to see the licence for that motorcycle, because the way you were driving that is very, very dodgy, I would reckon.
Don't believe a word of it. I passed my test the day before we came out, actually. And David, I'm surprised that police officer didn't pull you over and give you a ticket just for the fact that you once came here and beat Ferrari on the track.
Yeah, the Italian fans are obviously very passionate towards Ferrari, but they are a sophisticated audience. They appreciate the other teams going out there and taking the challenge. So, although I occasionally had the wrath of the fans, especially when Michael was running into the back of me, I think on balance they're very supportive.
OK, well, can Ferrari do the business here this weekend? They need to, because this is the way that things are looking at the moment in the title race. As far as the drivers are concerned, we'll take a look at Jenson butted in 4th and Fernando Alonso in 5th. They're the guys to watch, and you'll find out why when we show you what happened in qualifying in just a few moments. And as far as the Constructors' Championship is concerned, I imagine all Ferrari fans have got their calculators out, working out how Ferrari can go from 3rd to 1st. They'll certainly need a strong weekend here this weekend. But there's no doubt that as things stand, Ferrari are in the hunt for both of the championships, because this week the World Motorsport Council decided they should face no further sanctions after the race-fixing scandal at the German Grand Prix, a race that's now famous for all the wrong reasons.
One radio transmission during the German Grand Prix has come to define Ferrari's season so far.
Fernando is faster than you. Can you confirm you understood that message? Good lad. Just stick with him now. Sorry.
The watching public saw it as an obvious team order, but because team orders are banned in Formula One, after the race, Ferrari had to argue it was Felipe Massa's decision to let Fernando Alonso through to win.
We didn't have team orders in the race.
Team order is not a problem.
No, there are no team orders.
This week, the case went before the sports governing body, the FIA, in Paris. Jean Todt, the ex-Ferrari boss, is now FIA president, but he did not sit on the judging panel. The FIA heard evidence that Massa had been told 4 times that Fernando was faster than him before that final message, and that Fernando Alonso was faster at the time because he was in a better engine setting than Massa, something Felipe had not been told about. Ferrari's defence was that they didn't want Alonso having to overtake Massa on track and risk a collision, as had happened in the past, and that the famous radio message was technically just a piece of information, not an overt order. The FIA president acknowledged this important legal point after the hearing.
Before you say you are guilty, you need to be able to prove that you are guilty. And if you understand all the parts who have been asked, I mean, everybody has denied that it was a team order.
The FIA found Ferrari guilty of breaking the rules, but did not increase their sentence beyond a $100,000 fine already handed out after the race in Germany.
We really appreciate the fact that the World Council has really taken into consideration the fact that the rule has to be, in a way, amended and make it much clearer.
Transparency is the buzzword in the Monza paddock. The next debate in F1 is whether to keep the ban and let the drivers race, or whether to legalise team orders and be open about a practice that has existed, overtly or otherwise, throughout motorsport's history.
Well, it's looking like from next season team orders may well have the green light in Formula One. The FIA have effectively said, look, it's unenforceable, this particular rule. So how can we convince the sceptics, the fans who matter, that they can have good, honest, open racing in Formula One with obvious team orders?
Well, the teams will always employ the 2 best drivers they can. That's the only sensible thing to get the maximum out of their championship positions. Beginning of the year, they have to let them race. But naturally, as the year goes on, there will be one that's leading, and if you're battling against another team, then late in the year they'll announce that they're supporting one driver over the other. Of course, the perfect scenario for any team is that they are dominant, it's their drivers that are running 1-2, and they just let them race.
So people shouldn't panic that in Bahrain in 2011, for example, we're going to see nullified racing, Eddie, but the teams will still have to be very careful about the way they play it, won't they, even when the team orders are allowed?
I think the teams are quite sensible people. They know what they're feeling. The people here want to see fair play, and they want to see an exciting race. If at the end of the season, when one mathematically can win with the help of another driver, of course that's a perfectly sensible, normal thing. But they don't want to see contrived positioning at an early part of the season. That's not washable anymore. People will not accept it.
OK, we'll wait and see what happens there. But you can probably hear Fernando Alonso's engine behind us. That will be music to the ears of the Tifosi, who are slowly filtering into the grandstand, which is filling up very nicely just behind us, because they want to see their man, Fernando Alonso, take victory today, and he is well set to do just that. However, yesterday it was pretty tight in qualifying. Could we have a Grand Prix as tight as this? Here's Lee Mackenzie.
Nestled in the beautiful Italian countryside, there was an air of expectation at Monza as qualifying got underway. Timo Glock was left frustrated after barely getting out of the pit lane before he was blocked by Vitaly Petrov.
Absolutely furious there, isn't he?
He just turned into
turn one and stayed in my way, and I just got screwed up by my lap.
It was another average day for Mercedes and Michael Schumacher, who couldn't replicate the success that he and Ross Brawn had conjured up here in previous years. But the Monza maestro still has a few tricks up his sleeve.
It is, of course, an overtaking track, and you're not shy of doing that. How are you set for the race tomorrow?
Yeah, cut a couple of chicanes and up front.
It was the first time all season that a Red Bull didn't make it onto the front row of the grid. Mark Webber was up against it after problems blighted 2 of his practice sessions, but he still put his car in 4th place and ahead of his teammate.
Pretty happy with today's qualifying, to be honest. It's always tight around here, and trying to get it all together is not the easiest for all of us. We're pushing on the limit for the chicanes, and it's easy to overcook them.
The talk of the weekend had been all about whether McLaren would stick with the F-duct, but the drivers chose very different setups. Button ran the device, Lewis went without. At the end of qualifying, it was Jensen who had the smile on his face.
For me, it's a great place to be. I've had a good car all weekend, been happy with the balance. Haven't made any major changes with the car. You know, it's been tweaking it here and there, and I think that's when you know you're going to be competitive, when you're finding the half a tenth here and there or quarter of a tenth.
Quite disappointed, I think, with 5th place. We chose to go with the lighter downforce level, which doesn't have the F-duct, and just the car sliding everywhere. So I struggled quite a lot on each tyre, and it just didn't have the downforce. So the wrong choice, a bit of a mistake.
Fernando Alonso had his first Monza experience as a Ferrari driver, and it proved to be the dream story that the Tifosi had come to see. He stormed to his first pole position this season.
Normally I don't celebrate too much pole positions because I know that Sunday is the race, but this one was special, and normally the race pace is our strongest point this year, not so much the qualifying, so being at the front already Saturday is a good news for us.
So Ferrari get their first pole position since 2008, and Massa is right behind Alonso in 3rd. And for the first time since Monza last year, there's no Red Bull on the front row, Vettel having to settle for 6th. Rosberg is 7th. Adrian Sutil is a frustrated 11th with Schumacher alongside. Petrov's 5-place penalty means Alguersuari moves up to 15th, with the Russian now back in 20th. And a gearbox change means Timo Glock has to drop back 5 places. He'll start from the back of the grid.
Well, a fantastic qualifying session yesterday for Ferrari. Stefano Domenicali is with us. And Stefano, before we talk about the team, let's talk about you for a moment, because if I look over there at the grandstand, a big yellow sign. I know the Stefano bit. Explain what the rest of that means.
That's nice. I mean, I promise you, it's not my family.
Can you
Even
translate
if
that
very
for
close
us?
That we are always with you.
I mean, Stefano, we are always with you. And what's it like?
A little bit of responsibility, anyway.
I bet. What's it like actually coming back here, where the Tifosi are always with you, but that brings with it quite a lot of responsibility and pressure?
You have to cope with that. Otherwise, you cannot do this kind of job. It's part of this game. It's part of Formula One. It's part of the sport. It's part of trying to be always, very competitive, even if we know that the competition is tough, and we have very strong competition this year.
Stefano, a different kind of question. Luca is here, your president. How much extra pressure does that put on you? Because he's almost like a rock star these days.
Well, of course, he's a unique personality. So he's very strong, and I try to keep the pressure just for me and not for the team.
You've been with Ferrari for many years, so you know obviously it's very special racing at home. Fernando taking pole here, it can't be lost on him, the importance of this weekend. Have you had a special conversation with him and Felipe about this weekend in particular?
I have to say that this morning, when we always do the last moment briefing, all together we just said, listen guys, we need to keep in mind the responsibility that we have, not only in front of the team but in front of the people that are coming here with a lot of expectations. So try to do the best that you can, because we need to be respectful on the passion that the people that are coming here have for us.
Yeah, the thing to do is to please this crowd, and there are an awful lot of them, and that grandstand is getting full, and it's, well, more than half an hour to go until it's lights out at the start of the race. Felipe Massa is perfectly poised, though, to help Fernando to the win here today, isn't he? How do you see this race unfolding?
I think that for sure he will push as hard as he can. We know that, Jensen is very close, and all the others will be there, and will try to attack everyone. So they need to really, first of all, as I said, most important thing is to avoid collision at the start.
Yes.
Go fast and don't crash, we used to say all together.
Was this a very big psychological benefit coming away from Paris? It now clears the air and it gives you a possible run for the championship with Alonso?
Well, I mean, I think for sure the emotional pressure on everything that is, let's say, out of the track is always very high. We don't have to hide that. But, you know, this is not something that has to be on the shoulder of the team now. As we said, it's over, and we need to look forward, always.
And you can look forward to being in the hunt for both of the titles as things stand at the moment. Very best of luck to Ferrari at home here today.
We will try. But not easy.
Well, it's not easy at all. And I was going to say, is there a man with more pressure on his shoulders at this race than Stefano Domenicali? Stefano comes here with Ferrari not having won here since 2006. The team not having taken a pole at all in Formula One until yesterday, since 2008. But still, look up there, Stefano. They turn up in their thousands, wanting one thing and one thing only: victory.
Ferrari is a magic symbol of Italia.
Ho sbagliato tante volte ormai che lo so già.
It's more of a car, is a style, is a symbol of life.
E oggi quasi certamente sto sbagliando su di te.
I love Ferrari because it's the story of Formula One.
Ma una volta in più che cosa può cambiare? È la vita mia.
The passion, the speed, the history.
It's a dream.
Accettare questo strano appuntamento.
Ferrari, it means life. That's all.
It's from 1950 that Ferrari is in Formula One. So many years on racing with lots of great drivers on the race.
Non esisto.
Italian Ferrari, the best car.
Non esisto.
Well, they've had some amazing times. They've also endured some tragedy, and it was only last week that we were reminded once again that these motorsport heroes, that the tifosi, that you and me put on a pedestal, are actually as vulnerable as the next man after the sad and untimely death of just 19-year-old Moto2 star Shoya Tomizawa. But you only have to go back in Formula One's history 40, 50 years to remember that actually death in this sport was commonplace until one man said enough was enough.
Monza is one of the greatest names in Grand Prix racing and the history of racing. Many good memories, but of course many tragic ones too. In this very area, 40 years ago, one of my best friends, Jochen Rindt, died. In my time, if I raced for 5 years, there was a 2 out of 3 chance I was going to die. Shocking statistics.
As I was growing up, you know, I became gradually aware that my dad was a racing driver and that some of the names and people that we knew growing up didn't come back.
The cars in those days were virtually mobile death traps.
The dangers were incredible. Not just on the track itself. There was no runoff areas in those days. Very few barriers of any kind.
The competition was just as great, but if you went off, it was very often, too often, curtains.
You don't want that. You know, it was a very painful experience for everyone.
So what was to be done? Because I was world champion, I was able to exert influence, to get tracks changed, to get regulations changed, to make it a much safer sport.
His attitude was, this is my job and I don't expect to die doing my job.
It takes a lot of courage to stand up and start arguing the case for safety as a racing driver, because you're going to incur the attack of being scared.
People regarded Jackie as a wimp, and it was only because he was world champion with enormous status and credibility that he was able to get done what he did get done.
The number of fatalities declined throughout the decades. 15 fatalities in the 50s, 12 in the 60s, 10 in the 70s, and only 4 in the 80s. From 1990 to 94, there were no fatalities at all until the San Marino Grand Prix, when Ayrton Senna died.
Senna's accident was, in terms of public awareness, the biggest that there have ever been in the history of the sport. For this to happen to such a famous and such a brilliant man as Senna was a real wake-up call.
The only thing I can say about this is I hope we learn from this. I think there is a lot to learn from, and we have to use this. And things like this, they shouldn't happen without taking the experience from it.
It's been crucial that drivers took some action and showed that they were united, at least in their concern for safety.
Drivers' meeting of today, we agreed to form the Grand Prix Driver Association.
Jackie is here to say a few words about his role in the past and what we're doing now.
At the end of the day, you're the guys who are in the cockpit and are greatest at risk.
Stirling Moss will tell you that in his day, you would never do what drivers do today, like Schumacher crowding Barrichello up to the wall.
Schumacher's almost put him in the wall! Schumacher almost put him in the wall there!
Because in Stirling Moss's day, you knew that if anything like that happened, that was you finished for.
And it's almost a dead heat! It's Jackie Stewart, Prix, Beltoise and McLaren. Nobody has ever seen the finish of a motor race like that.
You couldn't take liberties. In those days, you would hit a stone wall, you would hit a telegraph pole, you would hit a house even.
I think complacency is a big mistake. I think that it's very easy to become complacent. That is the problem with making things safer and safer, is that people start to think that it's totally safe, and it isn't.
You can never think that it's not going to happen to you as a racing driver, and you can never back off from looking for more safety.
Formula One remains an extremely hazardous sport. But thank heavens, Formula One now is immeasurably safer than it used to be. It's not safe, and it never will be completely safe, but it's a lot better.
Well, it's less than half an hour to go now until today's Italian Grand Prix. The pit lane is open, the cars are making their way to the grid, and of course we're hoping for another safe Grand Prix in Formula One. And David, it's been 16 years since the last death we saw in the sport, which was Ayrton Senna on the same weekend, of course, as Roland Ratzenberger. So someone like Jaime Alguersuari was just a few years old when that happened. Can he really appreciate that he is in a dangerous sport?
Well, it's a different feeling for the younger drivers, of course, because they haven't lived, they haven't grown up around that sort of death that obviously Jackie was racing through in that period. It is a long time since there was a fatality in Formula One, but we're only just one race away potentially from something tragic happening. So it's not lost on the drivers. That's why the Drivers' Association is still going, and all of the drivers are members.
And in the early 90s, Eddie, when you got into Formula One, that was just when the technology was really starting to develop at a pace to keep these guys safe, wasn't it?
There were two huge things happened at the same time. One, Max Mosley became totally determined to get safety in racing. So well done to him for that. But the emergence of carbon and Kevlar and other things like that, which made the car maybe 4 or 5 times more stiff and more rigid in terms of an accident. And the thing didn't implode on you. It actually bounced off things. Huge aspect. Kevlar and carbon has been a huge influence on the safety in the sport.
And perhaps the FIA don't get the credit for the fact that the car that you might drive to the cinema or around to your friend's house this evening actually benefits directly from what's been developed in Formula One, put on your road car. Keeps all of us nice and safe. Well, Lewis Hamilton has made his way out of the garage and onto the grid for today's Grand Prix, and he'll be a frustrated driver. He thinks he took the wrong route in setup yesterday. He now starts 5th on the grid for today's Grand Prix, and he won't take kindly to that. Even if he's just 1/10 of a second behind his teammate, he isn't happy. And in fact, he comes from a family of born winners.
My brother plays computer games more than anyone I know. The second person that plays most is Adrian Siddle. He has a big projector on the wall, big huge screen, and he's got this seat, same seat as this, and he puts on his racing gloves and his racing boots.
No.
Me, Heikki, Adrian, Nick, we all meet up online and we have a race. We just mess around.
Well, let's chat to your brother, actually, because he is back in the UK on the other end of these headsets. Nick, tell us, what's your greatest achievement racing online computer games?
I've won like 3 rounds
of the British Championship. I'm not British champion.
I love this. So he goes, well, yeah, I play a few computer games. It emerges, he has won rounds of British online racing championships. How do you feel about the fact your brother's chosen to race a Red Bull? That's rather apt, considering the title battle.
It is. I'm a bit disappointed, really. I thought he'd want to be my teammate, but I don't know. What can I say? What can I say? Disappointed.
And you'll be delighted to know that I'm Fernando Alonso.
I would. I am very happy about that.
All I'll be worrying about for the whole race is where you are and what you're up to.
Yeah. I've got the red flag here, mate.
Right, here we go.
It's so cool that they had my gloves on here.
Yes, come on.
Okay, Jake gets a good start. So we hit it into turn one.
Oh! I'm in the lead!
Fernando, get out of the way!
No, 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 no! No, I just got punted off. Lewis, did you knock me off there?
It wasn't me, man. It's my brother.
That's dangerous. Jake, you're weaving all over the place.
Wait for me, boys. I'm on my way.
We're finished, mate.
Is this the norm for you? A little cup of tea between sessions?
Of course, of course.
Happy memories of Monza for you? Second there in your first year?
And I don't remember what happened last year. Oh, yes, I do.
You remember what happened last year? Nick, we think there's something suspect with the Red Bull, don't you?
Yeah, we do, Nick. I think it's something wrong with your front wing.
It looks like it's flexing, Nick, when I'm half a lap behind you. OK, so we've got a man who's naturally quick, a man who's practiced a lot, and me.
Peace be the journey, man.
Yeah, you're not going to have any peace.
Bounce on the devil, put the pedal to the floor.
Oh, Jake's in the lead. Oh, he's up, he's up, he's up, he's up.
See you later, gentlemen.
Oh, Jake, you're just so dirty, man.
Nick, that car is so fast, that's a joke. Oh, Nick nearly lost it there. Oh,
hit me.
And that is it. I have now been overtaken by them both, and that's the last I'll see of them.
Nick is miles ahead.
What's the buzz of Monza like for real?
It's awesome. I'm telling you, the speed that you have on the straight, the thing just keeps climbing. The speed is unbelievable. 220 miles an hour. So you're just going through the two Lesmos, down the back straight. At this point, you go right under the old circuit. I'm gonna take you out, Nick. Be careful on the braking.
You cut the chicane.
Oh, I'm on your tail now, Nick.
Go on, Louis.
Oh, I'm in his toe.
Oh, you're an idiot.
What happened to you?
You are such a cheat, it's unreal.
Nick, stop crying, man. Get back on the track.
Round the final corner, under the pit straight, Lewis Hamilton has won.
I got to put my hands up. I cheated. I cut the chicane, which we always do when we race each other, to catch each other up if one's falling behind, because he's so bleeding quick. And I was with him, and unfortunately he broke under pressure and crashed. That's the truth, but it's all good.
So do you have any sense of achievement, having cut the chicane to catch him?
I feel great.
Yeah, I love that.
Okay, Nick, before we get off, we have to do a proper race. Sorry, guys, we're going to be here for a while.
And indeed, we were there for a while. So Lewis won that race, but he starts from 5th on the grid for today. And looking at his pit board, David, the team don't look very confident that he's going to make up much on the first lap today.
Yeah, I've never seen that before. You know, it's fine putting on as the end of the first lap, but putting the position on already, it just seems a bit bizarre. He'll not see that when he comes around, of course.
Well, let's go for a walk, because as you can hear, it's nice and quiet out here now, and actually it's rather empty as well. All the teams are just primed, gearing up for the first pit stops. It's always interesting when where the cars have been in the garages, suddenly they get replaced by all the chairs, where everybody comes in, stands and sits and watches the race unfold. Just a quick line, Eddie, about Lewis Hamilton's position as we keep our eyes peeled on what's going on behind us, with a Sauber deciding to stop about 2 feet behind our crew. Well done, Pete. Lewis will be focusing on the fact that he's sandwiched between the Red Bulls, and actually that's not a bad place to be, because they're his closest challengers.
Well, he also has the added advantage that he should have the speed on the straight. What he needs to do, particularly in the first lap or so, cars are often scrambling around the place. So in other words, his lack of downforce won't be a big deterrent. I think he'll be able to, hopefully, slipstream a couple of them and maybe get himself up into the top 3.
OK, we'll wait and see. As you saw there, Kamui Kobayashi is one driver who isn't on the grid at the moment, but one former driver who is Martin Brundle. Martin.
6 to go, 150 points on the table. This is a very important Grand Prix. Many drivers need to get some points, catch up the gaps or maintain their advantage. Alonso's car being pushed now towards pole position. There's been an army of men and women pouring onto this grid to come and service 24 Formula One cars, and a lot of tension, a lot of action going on down here. I'm kind of a bit in the German quarter. We've got Hülkenberg, Rosberg, Vettel. That's 6th, 7th and 8th. Let's hope they don't all trip over each other down into the first corner. Kubica's car just coming onto the grid now, quite late. Have a quick word. Alan, any problems with the cars?
No, all fine, man, thanks.
Good. Are you where you expect to be on the grid, or can you do anything from here?
We were hoping to be a bit higher up, honestly. Our quality 2 time would have put us 7th, so it'll be tricky with our straight line speed to get past Rosberg, but that's our target to do him, so we'll see what we can do in the pit stops.
Maybe he just has to miss all the pieces down in the first corner.
Let's hope so.
Good stuff. Good luck with that. So Robert is still in the car. We're not going to get a word with him. Let's wander forward. Nico Hülkenberg for Williams doing a good job. Got himself up in the top 10 again and looking very comfortable. I don't know if we can just... Nico, another great qualifying performance.
Yeah, not bad. I mean, before the weekend I didn't believe that we were that competitive, but very positive qualifying yesterday. I enjoyed that pretty much. Let's hope we can convert that into a good race result.
So you're really getting the hang of this now, aren't you? I mean, you struggled at the beginning of the year, but I think you look like you're really getting on top of this car.
Yeah, I feel the same. I feel more and more comfortable and confident in the car and the team, and it's getting better and better. And there's still a few races, and I have to prove that.
What's in your mind going down to the first corner, having seen all of the other incidents in GP2, GP3?
I think that we behaved quite well into turn 1. A few laps later, racing-wise, there was a bit of a mess, but at the start, everyone seemed to behave. I don't expect any trouble there, but you always need to keep an eye open.
Good luck. Let's wander down and see who else we can find. Sebastian Vettel, a very, very disappointed 6th on the grid yesterday, talking to the German media. I'm becoming a bit of a hate figure on this grid, I'm afraid, with the foreign media, because we dive in. We spoke to him back in Spa. Rubens, how's it going?
That's all right. It's a bit movie on the tires. It's going to be fun for the first few laps.
All right, with the full tanks and the skinny downforce, you think it's going to be quite exciting under braking?
Yeah, it's going to be. I think we've seen in GP2, GP3, I think we need to look after the tires for the first few laps, so it's going to be a bit of overtaking, I guess.
Okay, good luck on your journeys, and we'll wander forwards. There's several interesting people on the grid today. Let's hope we can trip over some of them. One thing I do notice is there's an awful lot less tyres been brought to the grid today. Blue sky, nobody's expecting anything other than putting on the perfect set of slicks, the dry tyres that they want to start this race with. And as ever, Red Bull protecting the back of their car. They don't want us to see anything at the back of that. They've even got the scrutineer involved in protecting the back of their car. And well, what's your problem, buddy? There's plenty of space for everybody. Okay, Christian, what are we hiding here?
We just don't want to show McLaren, they make a fuss about our front wings and our floors, so we don't want to show them the rear wing, how small it is compared to theirs.
Is that smoke and mirrors then, or is that to stop them looking at something at the front?
Exactly, it's sort of a tactic to put them off the scent, you see. So, no, it's the guys just like standing at the back of the car, that's all.
Now, how did you engage the scrutineer? Are you paying him as well?
Well, he's not a Ferrari. He's the only guy in Monza that isn't a Ferrari fan, so...
He speaks English as well. What chances you got today?
Technically none, but, we're in the race, so it's going to be a long race. It's going to be very interesting, but of the 19 tracks, we knew this was going to be our toughest, so it's all about, damage limitation here, and Mark did a great job to get Lewis behind him on the grid yesterday, so if it could stay like that, it'd be a great result for us.
Now, I got pulled into the headmaster's office with Katie in your press officer saying, because I said today, this Red Bull is not as fast since you had to tighten up the aerodynamic rigidity. And she said, it's not true, we're just not fast down the straight, our car is identical.
Well, Katie knows what she's talking about, so... the front wing's the same, so...
Okay, we got the message. Just doing a quick oil level check, yeah?
Yeah, just to make sure everything's okay. No, coming back to the front wing, we ran the same front wing in Spa as we did in Hungary. It's just the nature of the circuit, and in the remaining races, you'll see it ebb and flow between the different natures of track we go to.
And you've changed the steering rack on Vettel's car, I believe, which is pretty significant, yeah?
It's just a precautionary thing, so I did an inspection last night, so just as a precaution.
Thanks. Right, let's wander off. How are you guys? Kasabian, what are you up to on the grid today?
Yeah, it's a great sphere, isn't it? It's lovely, isn't it?
Yeah, are you a petrolhead Formula One fan?
Listen, I was a virgin last year, now I'm addicted, so what do you reckon? It's all right,
yeah, have you ever been on the track? You ever had a little run around the track?
Kind of last year, but I was hungover last year, so this means more to me because I'm a bit alive more today, you know. So.
Yeah. Pretty good atmosphere down there. How does it compare with being on stage?
It's completely different. This is like Glastonbury on wheels, you know, so... But if anyone's watching, I want to say hello to my missus, Kimmett, and hello to Sergio and Ennio. Mwah.
And that's been done. Good luck. Good to see you. Right, let's wander forward. I want to try and have a word with Jenson Button. Let's look at the back wing of his car. We're just going past Felipe Massa, third on the grid, who's coming back to his car apparently. So let's see if I can... Oh, I think we've been outbraked here by somebody an awful lot prettier than me. Well, not Will, but the first reserve here is Felipe. Can we just where are you live at the moment? Where Felipe? How's it going? Third on the grid. Are you happy?
Well, I think it's a good position, so it's a great place to race. Let's try to, to maybe gain positions, and it's a very important place. It's a place that overtaking is not impossible for the speed on the straight, so let's try our best.
Okay, and you're going to go and get the slipstream behind Jenson with that big wing of his down to the first corner?
Let's try it.
Thank you, Marion. Bye-bye. See, no, I'm desperately in trouble now. And let's wander down and see if we can get to the front row of the grid. Have a word with JP is not back on the grid yet. I would think I've got a snowball in hell's chance of talking to Fernando Alonso. But we will have a little look and see if he's around. Look at the people around this car. There must be 100 people standing around this car on the grid. It's just quietly sitting there waiting to start from pole, and it's been quicker off the right-hand side of the grid as well as in a lot of the other races. I think Jenson's got a really good grid slot here. Just having a quick chat with his engineer. We'll see if we can butt in with butt on, and he doesn't know that we're here at the moment, so I'll just pull one of these long hairs on his arm. I hate it. You don't know how much I hate interrupting racing drivers on the grid. Jenson, so you got a lot of wing on, yeah? Don't you think they're all going to be trying to hide behind you down to the first corner?
Yeah, they will, definitely. The thing is, you can say I've got more dirty air than the other cars, but I've also got more downforce to lose. So
yeah.
I'm towing other cars. So I don't know what's going to happen. We'll see in a minute, but I should be able to get a pretty good start if everything goes cleanly. And then we'll see what happens down there at turn one. It's quite a way down there, but it should be all right. I've got the F-duct, which works very early on. So they won't be able to get their top speed difference, I don't think.
So you can get your leg on that and then go up the gears, no problem at all. It's just an instinctive thing now, is it?
Yeah, if we used our leg, yes.
All right, what do you do then?
Sorry, it's only been 14 races.
Oh yeah, no, you're a hand, aren't you? I forgot about that. So this thing's quite quick off the line, isn't it, Alonso Ferrari?
It's a Formula One car, it should be pretty good.
I know, but he's had some really good starts, yeah. How have your starts been?
They've been good, actually. The last few races have been very good, so we'll see what happens. I'm pretty relaxed, and turn one's the tricky one. Also turn four. With this much downforce on, obviously you are slower, but I think we'll see a smaller difference from me to the straight line quick cars than we saw in qualifying.
Good stuff. And what, 20 laps in, you think that downforce might help your tyre wear, and you might be really good look, in good shape about 20, 30 laps in?
Yeah, I mean, that's a long way into the race to be changing tyres, but more downforce should help looking after the tyres, but then you've got to be careful that you don't overheat them, blister them. So it's a bit of a balancing act, and I haven't got a clue how the race could go. It goes so many different ways, but I'm just looking forward to it. When the lights go out, it's going to be very exciting.
He looked dead cool. He looks really relaxed, but he hasn't got a clue how it's going to go, so I don't know how we should. Let's wander down, and yeah, here we go. Stereophonics, guys. How are you doing?
Very good, how are you?
Yeah, good stuff. Your new album, I think, was a Keep Calm and Carry On. Pretty appropriate for a Formula One grid, especially here at Monza today.
Yeah, it's great, man. It's pretty exciting.
So what do you mean? You're in town with F1 Rocks, I believe.
Yeah, we played a gig last night in the club in Milan, and just come down and watch the race today. So
are you here with any particular team? Well, who are you with in town?
We've had Ferrari looking after us, so we've been to see the pit. Yeah, it's been all right, yeah.
So you're looking for a Ferrari win. You guys petrol heads, you follow this normally?
Yeah, I've been following motorbikes mainly, but like getting more into the cars. So.
Can you believe the number of people on this grid and people coming up to you with live cameras just before you're going on stage? It must be great, but the drivers have to talk to us, basically.
I know it's great, the accessibility that people can get into, like Formula One, with all the drivers on the grid and all the cars, so it's really good.
Okay, good to see you guys. Enjoy your day's racing. I just want to see if Eric Clapton is around here somewhere. I would love to have a quick chat with Eric. Has anybody shout in my ears? There's Fernando. We can't see Bernie, but he is quite short, so Eric's a little bit taller. We might catch him. I don't know. Let's. Billy, is Bernie on the grid? Bernie and Eric.
Yes, Bernie's just gone. He's just gone that way, in fact.
Has he? Good. Well, I'll have a look, but I don't know. It's like looking for a needle in a haystack, isn't it? I think I'm going to have to get out of this one. Flavio Briatore, what's he doing on the grid? Let's see if I can upset another TV station here. It's the official one.
I'm here, and just back now. Hey, Martin.
Hi, Flavio. How are you doing? Good to see you back on the grid. What brings you here for this race in particular?
I know, it's in Italy, Ferrari pole. I believe fantastic weather. I believe we need to enjoy the race now.
Good stuff. You haven't seen Bernie and Eric, have you?
No.
Right, okay.
Ciao.
I think I'm definitely going to get out of here. Back to you, Jake.
All right, fantastic, Martin. Thank you very much. Listen, he's friends with the drivers on the grid, and that's really what matters. Anyway, just over 9 minutes now until the start of Glastonbury on wheels here in Italy. Let's quickly hear from Michael Schumacher. He's with Lee Mackenzie.
Michael. Okay, Michael, I know this is a track that you love. What can you do from 12th?
Well, I hope to make up a couple of positions at the start, obviously. The more the better, but we'll find out.
You made a great start in Belgium. Can you do it again today?
I will try, certainly.
Thank you.
Have fun.
Difficult day for Michael Schumacher. There's been some difficult moments this season for Fernando Alonso, but yesterday, in just over 81 seconds, all was forgiven by the Tifosi.
A very popular pole position for Ferrari's Fernando Alonso. Let's see how he does it. 215 miles an hour, 7th gear towards the end of the pit straight. His left hand will go down to the F duct for a little bit more straight line speed. Now heavy braking, down to 2nd gear, 50 miles an hour. The back end dancing around, trying to lock up. A quick squirt of the throttle between the two apexes. Now hard acceleration towards the Curva Grande. Over 210 miles an hour again. A little bit of lateral low, but no sliding at all. He'll bring the car to the right-hand side for a second heavy stop to get the car down to just 50 miles an hour. Glancing beautifully across those curves, back end just trying to step out under hard acceleration. The first Lesmo, 110 miles an hour through the apex, a little bit of oversteer, no problem at all for Alonso. The second Lesmo ahead now turns in hard, doesn't need all the space on the outside. This Ferrari is beautifully balanced. It's a 3.6 mile track. We're around the back now, heading towards the third chicane. The Ascari approached at 210 miles an hour, brakes 70 metres before the corner, and straight back on the throttle, 125 miles an hour, 150 already through the exit. Stay right to miss the worst of the bumps. And now bring it easily and gently to the left-hand side. He'll use his left hand for a bit of extra F-duct straight line speed. Down 3 gears. Straight back on the throttle, 115 miles an hour through the exit. Run it to the absolute outside of the racetrack for best acceleration. Drive for the line. It's the 19th pole position for Fernando Alonso.
Yes, we know Fernando. Ferrari are on pole. Since 2000, when they reprofiled the first chicane here, the pole sitters held the lead all but once. How do you see the start playing out today?
Well, the track here isn't actually that dirty, so it's not such a disadvantage to be on the inside. Jensen has more downforce on his car, and as we've mentioned in yesterday's show, above 50 miles an hour, he'll start to get the benefits of that. So that'll definitely play a part in traction when he goes off the line. So I think he's in a good position.
And the 3 guys at the front of the championship hunt are a little further back, and the guy in 4th and the guy in 5th are right at the front. This is actually a really, really big day for the championship, isn't it?
Well, leaving team orders out of this, because let's hope they don't play a part today. My gut feeling is that this is going to be Alonso's race. It's going to be a very big day for Ferrari, unless Jensen can out-drag him into the first corner. That's the key, and if Jensen can do that, we're in for a fireworks race.
Yeah, I agree with that, but I think if Fernando does get the jump on him, then I think it'll be hard to pass.
Exactly. Okay, gentlemen, thank you both very much indeed. You can see the action down there on the grid. It is now race time here at Monza. The two title outsiders at the front. Lewis Hamilton sandwiched between his two biggest rivals just behind them, and thousands of locals wanting just one team to do the business. In the company of Martin Brundle and Jonathan Ledger, it's time for the 2010 Italian Grand Prix. Are you ready for a ride around Monza?